Welcome to Brainstorm MTG. I'm ELD, and this is Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Mass. Here we have Grixis being piloted by Kyle versus Benjamin playing Hogaak. A deck that is very spicy. We see a Careful Study along with Altar of Dementia as possible targets here, and he will grab the Careful Study. Polluted Delta being sacrificed. Stitcher Supplier and Hedron Crab both doing tons of self-mill. Or enough self-mill. Not tons. You don't need that much to get the ball rolling here. It's pretty impressive. And Stitcher Supplier getting 3 cards into the graveyard, and Cabal Therapy being sacrificed right away. The Stitcher Supplier sacrificed 2 Cabal Therapy, naming Force of Will, leaving just a Snapcaster and a Jace in hand. Oh, when Stitcher Supplier dies, 3 more cards were supposed to go to the graveyard. Carrion Feeder now, and Hogaak can actually come down with a bridge in the graveyard. Kyle actually calling it there. We were potentially 1 turn away from seeing the deck combo off completely. A Altar would allow for a Hogaak to be sacrificed to self-mill 8 and then recast him potentially. Once you get 2 bridge from belows, you can actually just loop and then eventually just mill your opponent out of the game 8 at a time. It is a very spicy deck, and we'll see if we actually get to see it function completely. There, Kyle scooping to save time. He is playing the slower deck, as entertaining as it may be to watch the decks kind of do what it is they're designed to do. He is trying to walk away with a win, and that means proper tournament management, scooping it up when you don't have enough of a chance to merit the time invested, and there he absolutely did not. There's almost nothing he was going to do to win from there. All it was going to do is eat up time that he needs to try and win games 2 and 3. We'll see how this goes. Post-board games. Many more ways to interact positively here with the Hogaak decks. Hogaak. I'm not actually sure what people are pronouncing this name as. Guess you can let me know in the comments how you say it. While you're at it, always appreciate subscribe, like, share, leave comments, anything you can do to engage with the channel. And Kyle leading out with a Leyline of the Void. Bloodstained Mire. Leyline gonna need to be handled. Going to be very difficult to convoke out a Hogaak without delving. Probably not going to get the necessary amount of creatures to make that happen. Now, Hedron Crab, fetch land, and the milling begins, but honestly, probably not worthwhile. There's almost no way that Ben's going to be able to mill Grixis out, and Grixis does use its graveyard as a resource, so probably not a line worth engaging in. Cabal Therapy and Brainstorm. Gonna go ahead and probably hide the Force of Will on top of the deck. Let Benjamin try and take a guess at the variety of different answers that he might have. He still had the Brainstorm in hand, probably what I would have named. Lightning Bolt taking down the Hedron Crab. A lot of the time when people are hiding a Force of Will, they'll leave a Brainstorm in hand so they can get the Force of Will back if they need to, if you're able to pivot and put a must counter spell onto the stack. So in that particular situation, Brainstorm, a pretty reasonable card to name. Altar of Dementia. Not really a threat as is. And Vengevine coming down. Swinging for 4. Here the backside of Vengevine likely to be a liability. A 4/3. Not the hardest thing for Grixis to deal with. Will he actually need to take a hit here? Or is he going to be able to... There we go. Snapcaster Bolt. That's right. We had seen the Snapcaster earlier, so Ben had already seen that, knew what was coming, just soaking up possible plays. He sacrifices the Vengevine to the altar to mill Kyle 4 more cards, but again, that graveyard is a resource. Kyle actually expending a Angarth's Rampage to get rid of it, which is a little surprising. Another Vengevine. I'm actually genuinely surprised that he took out the altar. I don't think it actually posed a legitimate threat. Lightning Bolt now taking down Vengevine, showing a Hogaak and a Carrion Feeder to the Thoughtseize. And now Force of Vigor is counterspelled. Force of Vigor far too late. Another Vengevine though. I mean, Ben's going for it. This one gets a hard cast Force of Will. And Kyle hellbent. Stitcher Supplier. Ponder for Kyle. Into Plague Engineer, that takes down the Stitcher Supplier, preventing any pesky chump blockers that might happen. And we've got 4 damage on board. That's just a couple of turns. And Benjamin now scooping it up. Grixis just been super scrappy. Done a bunch of commentary this morning. Several matches here with Kyle on Grixis, and it is shown some tenacity. Hanging in there in very difficult situations, finding ways to win when things look very grim, and weathering the storm of absolute nut draws. But now Benjamin gonna have the play. He He really is going to want an answer to Leyline or hope Kyle doesn't get Leyline. Those are really the best options for him. The 4-mana enchantment absolutely puts everything to a screeching halt on Benjamin's side, and he does have it. Kyle again with the Leyline. Force of Vigor, just an incredibly good card. Notable that it can handle the double Leyline as well. Double Leyline used to be something that was just completely demoralizing. They'd be lucky to be able to find a single answer to a single Leyline, but I mean, getting two, it's like, what are the odds of them finding and resolving both? Now it's all done with a single card due to the power of Force of Vigor. Bridge from Below getting exiled. And now Ponder. Careful Study. Trying to dig to find stuff, but not really a card that's particularly well suited to that once Leyline of the Void is on board. Hedron Crab. And again, it's not really super exciting to be milling a Grixis deck. They do have Snapcaster Mage. Some of them run Dreadhorde Arcanist. This build, though, it's going to be the Snapcasters that really do you in. Ponder looks. Kyle, keeping those standards nice and high, says not quite good enough. Let's get another fetch land to the mana base. As Kyle gets a 3/4 mana, he's going to get more comfortable. Ooh, Reverend Silence actually resolving. And a graveyard has formed here for Ben. What can he do from here? A Bloodghast. Not the most exciting follow-up to the Reverend Silence. Plague Engineer. And unfortunately, Bloodghast does have 1 toughness, so what is the Plague Engineer naming? Thoughtseize shows Reverend Silence and Force of Vigor. I believe that's Force of Vigor. So Benjamin with all the answers. At least to Leyline. And now Carrion Feeder enters the battlefield, dies immediately. It would lead me to believe that that's what Plague Engineer is naming. I'm not sure why that was cast, if it was just going to die. This Plague Engineer's got me a little mystified here. It is mill time. Vengevines going to the graveyard. He's got the fetch ability here. Can actually go ahead and put even more cards into the graveyard. Cabal Therapy. Pre-combat gets a zombie token. He's going to be able to fetch again. Get back that Bloodghast. Snapcaster Mage being taken. We see Kolgan's Command and Force of Will. K-Command being used to get back that Snapcaster Mage. And take out one of the Hedron Grabs. So many Vengevines in the graveyard here. And now convoking Hogaak. And he'll stop there. Snapcaster Mage coming down. Brainstorm. He's got the 2 to go to the top of the library. Facing down an 8/8. That can just be recast from the graveyard. It's a pretty dire situation. 12 incoming. We're going to see Bridge from Below going away. Bloodghast being cast from hand. That gets Force of Willed. No land to follow up. Tyrant Scorn. Returning the Snapcaster to hand. Or returning the Plague Engineer to hand. That's going to come in and name vampires finally. And Kyle is lower on life, facing down a 2/2. So now it's going to be a question of how to convoke this Hogaak. I believe that Plague Engineer was naming zombies before. And now Gravecrawler coming back. Bloodghast, not an option, but Gravecrawler is. Can Kyle keep the 2 creatures necessary to convoke Hogaak off the board? And there he is. That gets a hard cast force. Goes back to the graveyard. Brainstorm. Four mana Jace the Mind Sculptor. And that can bounce the token, and it does. Trading with the Snapcaster Mage. Now, even though Bloodghasts are going to die immediately as a state-based effect, any future bridges would have started generating zombie tokens if it wasn't for this Leyline of the Void that Kyle's able to hardcast. Reverent Silence for Ben. Picked up another piece of enchantment removal along the way. I believe he had cleared out previous enchantment removal quite some time ago. Managed to draw into more. That's how concerned he needs to be about Leyline. Oh, and another Ley. Pretty sure he only has 3 Leylines in the deck. He's drawn all 3. This time, Bloodghasts returning and exiling themselves. I thought that was actually a May. Guess not. Hedron Crab and now Lightning Bolt finishing it off. So Kyle really hanging in there. That looked like Hogaak was just ready to roll over him, but just kept on the edge, making sure he wasn't able to continually recast him by convoking, keeping the creatures off the board, and Grixis controls its way to another win. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.